Hi people, Chili here, and welcome to the 5-minute review, and we go through this special episode as I tackle Mastodon's newest album, Hushed and Grim. To start off the album, we have Pain with an Anchor, and it's a good track. The build-up and drums at the start usher in a solid riff. The last section in particular shows Mastodon landing some hard blows. Great start. The Crux is next and lulls you into a false pretense with its intro before the drums hit you like a fucking freight train. This track is a truly masterful Mastodon cracking tune. It gives me chills. Sickle Piece is the next track and serves as the band's third single before the release. It has roots in progressive rock with the complexities of the tune. The subtle guitar riff at the start is perplexing, and Brand brings a wealth of percussion to this track as well. It's his skills that make this track stick out and make you truly enjoy the builds on this song. One of the best tracks on the album. More Than I Could Chew is next, and I may have spoken too early when I said Sickle Piece was one of the best tracks on the album. This track does not fuck around. After a small intro, we are hit with a brutal riff. It's the heaviest track on the album and is so far proving to be a fan favourite. Open the pit when this song starts. The Beast is the following track, and it gave me Hunter vibes with its toned down guitar sweeps, like Creature Lives sound, but maybe my mind is just playing tricks. Skeleton of Splendor is up next and shows the band in a pensive mood. This is another good track, and Brent has a short but sweet guitar solo that really brings up this track. Tear Drinker is the lead single from this album. This is one of the more accessible tracks despite the subject matter dealing with the pain and loss of the band manager, Nick John. It also has a badass bass solo preceding the guitar solo, and that is worth checking out alone, and it is a fucking amazing track. Pushing the Tides is next and is like Mastodon of old. It's relentless in its pace and a riff that sounds like a circular saw. This is also the shortest track on the album, but not soon to be forgotten. Peace and Tranquility is the following song, and this is an odd track. Mastodon have done unorthodox tracks before, but this riff doesn't sound right to me. This track begins sounding promising before it rounds a corner to really never return. It's not the worst track on the album, but it's not really far off. Not even Brendan's solo can save this track. This is the start of a dull section of the album, unfortunately. Daggers is next and sees the band venture into experimental ambient guitar sounds over big drums. It's an interesting sound, but at 5 minutes of repetition with little variance, I don't like the track and it overstays its welcome. Skip. Had It All is next and is a big change of sound. We are also joined for a guest appearance by Kim Dale, known for being the guitarist of Soundgarden, and he kills it with his guitar solo here. The track is a slow burner, but worth it, especially for that guitar solo. Savage Lands is next and has got to be one of the fastest tracks on the album. The frantic pace at the start is purely impressive. This song will snap some necks. Gobblers of Dregs is the following song and is the longest track on the album. This song sees the band really flex their progressive muscles in a way we haven't seen since Crack the Sky. It's refreshing to hear a return to this form as well as they melt your mind with this track. Eyes of Serpents is next, and despite the build up to a new range in the latter half, it feels rather drab. I can live without this track, to be honest. Gigantium is the last track, and by this point the album feels like it should have finished 2 songs ago. It's a slow tune that does build to a decent guitar solo, but alas, it's still rather average. Hushed and Grim was no easy record to play start to finish. Look, I want to reiterate that I love Mastodon, before the haters smash the dislike button for what I'm about to say. Mastodon is a band that has released only good records, and I feel that this latest release toes the line for a few reasons. So first up, here are the negatives. Firstly, the music is very tame and contemporary for Mastodon standards. There are few huge riffs and fewer fast songs on this release. Secondly, the band has fallen prey to post-COVID double album release. The album just goes on for too long and is in need of editing. We are now on to the positives about the album, and that is, even after 2 decades, Mastodon can still surprise me with their songs, like the bass solo in Tear Drinker and how amazing that song is in general. The other was their callback to a progressive sound on Gobblers of Dregs. Crack the Sky was my first Mastodon album, and I love their prog sound. It is still one of my favourite albums of theirs. In the end, I give the album about 350,000 on the Scoville scale, or about a Scotch bonnet, as most of the worthy tracks were good, but not great, and there are far too many bad tracks that should have been left off the album. The redeeming tracks are definitely Sickle Piece, More Than I Could Chew, and Savage Lands. By the way, for those who are interested, I have a playlist up and it's called Chili's Hushed and Grim for my shortened version of the album I would prefer. And make sure you hit it up, and the link is below. Thank you for listening, and be sure to subscribe and like the video if on YouTube. Also check out our Instagram and Twitter, Live Listen Race, for more music related material. Rock out, people.